This is the last part about Napoleon. We're going to start off with the fall of Napoleon. So, one of Napoleon's major military moves was to invade all of Europe and eventually make his way into Russia. So, Napoleon decides to invade Russia. He's got 600,000 men under his control. So they march across Europe and they go into Russia. A lot of these soldiers, unfortunately, weren't loyal to Napoleon by this point. They were getting tired of fighting these battles, and they weren't really on his side as much as they used to be. And the weather conditions are really bad in Russia. The Russian winter is going to play a major role in Napoleon's fate. As Napoleon advanced into Russia, many of the Russian troops were starting to withdraw. They were retreating, they were running away. So the French were moving in, they won battle after battle with the Russians kept retreating. The troops finally pushed towards Moscow, which is the capital of Russia. But when they went to the capital, they found it was deserted. Nobody was there. However, the French were forced to leave because when they came here, the Russian peasants all banded together and they attacked the French soldiers. The French were outnumbered, so they had to leave. They were running. They had to go back the way they came from. And the winter as well played an important role. These soldiers were not ready to deal with the very cold Russian winter. So with the peasants attacking and the Russian winter, the French army stood no chance. Out of the 600,000 troops Napoleon began with, after they were retreating from Russia, they were only left with 94,000 soldiers alive. So by this point, the countries of Russia, Prussia, Austria, and Great Britain all joined together to fight against France. They were tired of Napoleon coming in and destroying Europe, messing everything up, so they banded together and they wanted to stop Napoleon, and they did in 1814. Napoleon was then forced to give up his throne in France, and he was exiled to an island of Elba. Now, if we look at this map here, this map shows Italy, shaped like a boot. This square right here is the zoomed in map here. Here's Italy, and off the coast of Italy we have Elba, where Napoleon was first sent and exiled. So the Allies, the other countries that fought against France, restored the old French king, and so instead of Louis XIV, who was dead, we have Louis XVIII. He comes to power, and they restored the French borders to what they were in 1792, before Napoleon messed them all up. Here's a map. They redrew the borders. France is back to normal. And on this map here, the green here, the purple here, show how far Napoleon went. The orange are the allies that were with Napoleon. Napoleon tried to go all the way here to Russia, the capital Moscow, where he was pushed back. 100 days. So while Napoleon was exiled on this island, he still had connections. So he got a ship, and they took him back to France. Rumors started to spread that Napoleon was back, and the king got scared. King Louis XVIII got scared, so he panicked and he left France. This allowed Napoleon to come back in and to take power. The next 100 days of his rule were this time period of renewed glory. I mean, he felt great. He was in control again. And a lot of people were actually happy he was back. One of the last major battles Napoleon fights is the Battle of Waterloo. So, June 18th, 1855, Napoleon is out to fight British troops. So they meet in this place called Waterloo. Now, the fighting lasted all day. And the battle was turned around when Prussia came in to aid the British. So when Prussia came in to fight, this caused the French army to lose and to retreat. This battle ended Napoleon's military career. He was no longer looked up to as a great general anymore after this battle. And this map here, all the blue is France, the red is Great Britain, the black is Prussia. As we can see here, France is stuck in the middle between British troops and Prussian troops. They're squeezing on Napoleon and they push all of his troops back. The end of Napoleon. Now, Napoleon tried to escape to America. He knew his end was near. His people didn't like him anymore. His time was up. but on his escape he was captured and exiled to a place called St. Helena. He dies at the age of 51 in a prison. Now, there's a controversy around his death. We don't know if he died of old age or maybe he was poisoned. We're not too sure. On this map here, we have the continent of Africa. Europe's up here, so they send Napoleon all the way down here to this tiny little dot, which you could barely see. That is the island of St. Helena, where he spends the last few days of his life and where he dies. Now, the group of diplomats gather in the city of Vienna because Napoleon went through Europe, destroyed Europe, made it a mess. So they meet because they want to restore order and stability in Europe. Congress of Vienna had three things. First of all, here are the people that were part of this. We have Castlereagh from Great Britain, Tsar Alexander from Russia, Frederick William III from Prussia, Metternich from Austria, and Talleyrand, the new leader of France. These are the people that met, these people in their respective countries. Here's a picture of what it might have looked like. Their goals. They wanted to make sure that France does not rise to power. They did not want another Napoleon to come back. They wanted to stop any sort of revolution and remove all traces of the French Revolution. They wanted to make sure that that didn't even exist anymore. Here is a document of what they drafted or came up with. This is what it looks like. Now, this is what they accomplished. They redistributed land. So they gave land back to certain people in France. They redrew the map of Europe, putting borders back to where they should be. And they made France pay for what they have done. And this is the end of the video for Napoleon.